Hello, everyone.
Hello, hello. Welcome back to A1 English Podcast, the show where we make real English feel simple, friendly, and honestly, fun.
I'm Jack.
And I'm Jessica. And today's episode is one that so many of you have been asking about.
Okay, before we dive in, quick reminder. If you're serious about improving your English naturally, don't forget to like this episode and subscribe to our channel.
Yes, please do that, because when you subscribe, you're not just supporting us. You're actually supporting your own learning journey. Every episode builds on the last one.
Exactly. Now, let's talk about today's topic because it's a big one. American versus British English pronunciation. Which one should you actually learn?
Oh, this question comes up constantly. I think almost every single learner asks this at some point.
Thousands of English learners feel stuck between the two. They watch American movies, but their textbook is British, or they want a British accent, but all their favorite YouTubers are American.
And it creates so much confusion. Some learners even feel embarrassed, like they're mixing accents and doing something wrong.
But here's the good news. By the end of this episode, you'll understand exactly how these two accents are different, and more importantly, you'll know which one is right for you.
Not perfect, but confident. And confidence is really what matters here.
Exactly. So let's start easy. No stress, no boring grammar rules.
Just real English, real examples, and real talk.
Let's get into it.
Okay, Jack, let me ask you something. When you first noticed accents, did you ever get confused about why the same word sounds so different?
All the time. I remember hearing someone say water in an American accent and then hearing a British person say the exact same word, and honestly, for a second, I thought they were different words.
Right? And that's exactly how most learners feel when they first notice British versus American English.
So today, let's break this down in the simplest way possible.
The truth is, American and British pronunciation aren't complicated. The problem is that nobody explains the differences clearly.
Books and apps just throw random words at you, tomato, schedule, vitamin, and expect you to figure it out.
Let's start with the basics. Both American and British English use the same grammar and mostly the same vocabulary. The biggest difference that you'll actually notice day to day is pronunciation, and sometimes spelling and word choice.
So in simple words, it's still English, just with a different accent, a different way of shaping the sounds.
Exactly. That's all you really need to understand to get started.
Now, why do people get confused? Usually, it's because they mix media from both countries. American Netflix shows, British podcasts, Australian YouTubers, all at once.
And also because teachers rarely explain that both accents are equally correct. There's no better English here.
Right. And today, we're going to fix that confusion completely.
We'll explain the real differences using real examples, not just textbook rules.
Because real life and real listening is honestly the best teacher.
So let's get into the two biggest sound differences you'll hear.
All right, let's talk about our first key point, the letter R.
This is honestly the single biggest clue for telling the two accents apart.
In American English, the R sound is pronounced almost every single time it appears in a word. Words like car, hard, sister, computer, they all have a strong, clear R sound at the end or in the middle.
But in British English, especially what's called received pronunciation, the R is often silent when it comes after a vowel and before a consonant, or at the end of a word.
Let me give you a real example. Imagine you're ordering coffee.
Okay, I'm listening.
In American English, you'd say, "Can I get a large coffee?" And you'd really hear that R sound in large.
But in British English, it sounds more like, "Can I get a large coffee?" The R almost disappears and the vowel gets a little longer instead.
Exactly. Now, many learners make a mistake here. They try to copy a British accent, but they still pronounce every R clearly, like an American would.
Oh, yes, I hear that mix all the time. It sounds like car with a hard R, but with British vowels. It's a strange in-between accent.
The problem is that mix can actually be harder to understand for both American and British listeners because it doesn't follow either pattern.
So the fix is simple. Pick one pattern and stay consistent, at least within one sentence, one conversation.
Let's look at vowels too, because this is our second big clue. Take the word dance.
In American English, most people say dance with a flat, short A sound, almost like the A in cat.
But in British English, especially Southern British English, it's pronounced dance with a longer, deeper A sound, almost like the A in father.
Same difference with words like bath, class, castle, laugh. Americans keep that flat A, British speakers stretch it out.
Let's do one more example, the word schedule.
Ooh, this one trips up a lot of learners. Americans say schedule with a hard K sound.
And British speakers say schedule with a soft SH sound at the beginning.
Neither one is wrong, they're just different traditions of pronunciation.
So remember, when you notice a word that feels different between accents, it's usually about the R sound or the length and shape of the vowel.
Not complicated at all, right?
Not at all once you know what to listen for.
Let's add one more pair of examples before we move on, because I think this really helps things click.
Good idea. Let's try the word either.
In American English, most people say either, with a long E sound at the start.
And in British English, it's often pronounced either, starting with more of an I sound.
Both are used by native speakers in each country, and honestly, some Americans even say either too, so there's flexibility here.
That's a great point. These aren't strict rules, they're general patterns.
One more, the word tomato.
Americans say tomato with that long A sound in the middle.
And British speakers say tomato with a deeper, rounder A sound, closer to father.
It's actually become a famous example. People even say, you say tomato, I say tomato, as a joke about the two accents.
Okay, now let's move to our second major difference, word stress and vocabulary choices.
This one is just as important, especially if you want people to actually understand you clearly.
Word stress means which part of the word you emphasize when you say it, and sometimes American and British English put the stress on completely different syllables.
Let's make this practical. Take the word advertisement.
In American English, the stress falls on the third syllable, advertisement.
And in British English, the stress moves to the second syllable, advertisement. It almost sounds like a completely different word.
Perfect example. And why does that happen? Honestly, it's mostly historical. English pronunciation evolved differently on each side of the Atlantic Ocean over the last few hundred years.
Now, here's a common mistake learners make.
Oh, let's talk about mistakes. These are always the most helpful part.
People often try to memorize the correct version, but there isn't one single correct version. Both are correct within their own system.
The real mistake is assuming British English is more proper or more correct than American English. That's simply not true. They're just two different standards, both fully valid and widely respected.
Exactly. Now let's talk about vocabulary, because this is where a lot of practical confusion happens.
Think about everyday words. In America, you'd say apartment, elevator, trash can, and cell phone.
And in Britain, you'd say flat, lift, bin, and mobile phone.
Same objects, completely different words. And if you mix them randomly, it's still understandable, but it can sound a little inconsistent to a native speaker.
Let's practice one together. Everyone listening, pause for a second. How would you ask, in British English, where is the nearest elevator?
The answer is, where is the nearest lift?
Did you get it right? If yes, amazing. If not, don't worry. That's exactly why we're here.
Learning takes time, and every small mix-up is just part of the process.
And one more quick point. Spelling. Words like color and color, center and center, organize and organize.
American English tends to simplify spelling. British English keeps some older French-influenced spellings. Neither is wrong, they're just two different written traditions.
Let's do one more vocabulary comparison before we move on, because I think a few more examples will really help.
Sure, let's try travel words. In America, you'd say vacation, gas station, and line, as in stand in line.
And in Britain, you'd say holiday, petrol station, and queue, as in stand in a queue.
Queue is actually a great word to remember. It's spelled with 4 extra silent letters, Q-U-E-U-E, but it's pronounced simply queue.
That's such a British spelling quirk, honestly. American English tends to avoid those extra silent letters where it can.
Let's do one last one, food words. In America, cookies, fries, and candy.
In Britain, biscuits, chips, and sweets.
And here's a fun trap. In Britain, chips means thick-cut fries, but crisps means what Americans call chips, the thin, crunchy snack in a bag.
That one confuses so many travelers the first time they order food abroad.
It really does. So vocabulary awareness isn't just about sounding natural, it's genuinely useful for everyday situations like ordering food or asking for directions.
Great. So now we understand the sounds, the stress, and the vocabulary. Let's talk about the real mistakes learners make when choosing between the two.
All right, Jack, let's talk about the mistakes people make when they're deciding between American and British pronunciation.
Yes, because honestly, these mistakes are great teachers if we look at them the right way.
Mistake number 1, mixing the two accents randomly in the same sentence.
Oh, I hear this constantly. Someone says schedule with the British schedule sound, but then pronounces every R sound like an American.
The fix here is simple. Pick one accent as your main model and try to stay consistent, especially in the same conversation.
And why does that matter? Because consistency actually makes you easier to understand, even more than perfect pronunciation does.
Mistake number 2, thinking you need to sound 100% native to be understood.
This one is tricky, and honestly, it stops so many learners from speaking confidently.
The truth is, having an accent is completely normal. Even native speakers have regional accents within their own countries.
The goal isn't to erase your accent. The goal is clear, understandable communication.
And the last common mistake, choosing an accent based on pressure from other people instead of your own goals.
Many learners think they must learn British English because it sounds more formal, or they must learn American English because it's more common online.
But actually, the right choice depends on your personal situation, who you talk to, where you might travel or work, and honestly, which accent you personally enjoy listening to.
The right way to think about it is there's no universally better choice. There's only the choice that fits your life.
Now, if you've been making these mistakes, don't panic.
Everyone makes them. Even advanced learners sometimes mix accents without noticing.
The important thing is to keep listening, keep noticing patterns, and keep practicing out loud.
Silence and hesitation are honestly worse than a slightly mixed accent. One more mistake I want to mention: comparing yourself to native speakers too harshly.
This is such an important one. So many learners feel discouraged because they don't sound exactly like the actors or influencers they watch.
But remember, those speakers grew up hearing that accent from birth, thousands of hours of natural exposure before they ever studied it consciously.
You're learning it as an adult or maybe as a teenager, and that's a completely different and honestly more impressive journey.
Give yourself credit for the progress you're making, not just the gap between you and a native speaker.
Exactly. So let's move on to how you can actually decide which one to focus on.
Okay, let's put everything together now.
Yes, let's make this really practical, because I know this is the part everyone's been waiting for.
Imagine you're a learner trying to decide American or British pronunciation. Where do you even start?
First, think about who you talk to most. If your work, your friends, or your travel plans involve mostly American English speakers, American pronunciation will simply feel more natural and familiar to you.
Then think about the media you already enjoy. If you love British TV shows, British music, or British YouTubers, your ear is probably already tuned into that accent, and it might come more naturally.
And finally, think about your goals. Are you preparing for a specific exam? Some exams, like IELTS, often lean slightly British in their materials, while TOEFL leans American.
See how practical that is? It's not about which accent is correct, it's about which accent fits your real life.
This is real, useful decision-making, not just textbook advice.
Now, everyone listening, I want you to try something right now.
Think of one word, maybe water, schedule, or dance, and try saying it both ways, the American way and the British way.
Say it out loud, even if you're alone right now listening to this.
Notice how different your mouth feels, how different the rhythm sounds.
And if it feels strange at first, say it again.
That's exactly how your ear and your mouth learn together.
And here's a small tip. You don't have to choose forever. Many confident English speakers actually understand both accents perfectly, even if they mainly speak one.
Exactly. Understanding both gives you flexibility, while speaking one consistently gives you clarity.
That combination is honestly the best of both worlds.
Let's give one more piece of practical advice before we wrap up, something you can start doing today.
Yes, pick one short video, maybe 2 minutes long, in your target accent, American or British, and listen to it 3 times in a row.
First time, just listen for the general meaning. Second time, listen specifically for the R sounds and vowel shapes we talked about today.
Third time, pause after each sentence and repeat it out loud, copying the rhythm as closely as you can.
This is called shadowing, and it's honestly one of the fastest ways to train your ear and your mouth together.
Do this for just 10 minutes a day, and within a few weeks, you'll notice your pronunciation becoming much more natural and consistent.
Small, consistent practice beats occasional long study sessions every single time. All right, let's quickly review what we learned today.
First, we talked about the R sound, strong and clear in American English, often softened or silent in British English.
Then we explained vowel differences, like the flat A in American dance versus the longer A in British dance.
We also covered word stress and vocabulary, like advertisement versus advertisement and apartment versus flat.
We talked about common mistakes, like mixing accents randomly or feeling pressured to sound 100% native.
And most importantly, we practiced choosing the accent that actually fits your real life, your goals, and your favorite media.
Remember, you don't need to be perfect in either accent.
You just need to be clear, consistent, and confident.
English is a tool for real communication, not a test you have to pass perfectly.
So speak, practice both sounds, make mistakes, and keep improving every single day.
That's the real journey of learning a language.
If this episode helped you understand American versus British pronunciation more clearly, please hit the like button right now.
And if you want more real, friendly English lessons like this one, subscribe to A1 English Podcast.
We upload new episodes regularly to help you improve your English naturally, step by step.
Thank you so much for learning with us today. We really appreciate you being here.
Keep practicing, keep listening, and keep speaking with confidence.
Bye, everyone!
See you in the next episode.